It's Transformers96 here with another just video where I will just be talking, and this time I'm going over the upcoming Hot Toys figures that were shown recently, mainly just Iron Man, and talking about some Hot Toys figures that will be shown at this year's Toy Seoul Fair in Hong Kong, I believe. So of course the big Hot Toys news is Age of Ultron. Very surprising here that they have already not only just shown Hot Toys figures, but have started releasing them almost. This, as you can see, is the Mark 43 Iron Man, and this will be put on pre-order by the end of the week, apparently. And all the stock photos have come out of it. Overall, I am super stoked for this. I did not purchase the Mark 42 really just for the hopes, that was my background, but for the hopes that they would do basically just a repaint, because that's really all I wanted, because I had heard how amazing the Mark 42 figure was, and it really tempted me to buy it, and I almost bought it a few times, but I decided to hold out, and I am very happy that I did so now that they have released this, which I would consider a much superior version, considering his base is really great, I think. First of all. Second of all, I like the colors a lot better. There's a lot more red, and the gold is still rather more prevalent than in the other armors, but not overpowering, which I think it is quite overpowering in Iron Man 3. Not to mention, when we talk about quality of movies, I have a feeling Age of Ultron is going to be just a tad bit better than Iron Man 3. If you guys know my opinions on Iron Man 3, I really didn't like it. So to get that Mark 42 instead of the Mark 43 would just be kind of crazy for me, because I really hated the suit in the movie, and this suit I'm sure I'm going to love in Age of Ultron. So now, so I'm very happy to get this. Now, it does seem to be a complete repaint, because it will be a die-cast suit, of course. You do get a nice Tony Stark face sculpt inside of it. I believe it's the same sculpt, though just not, there's no blood and damage in it. And then you get this base, which I think looks incredible. Just talking about the base alone, let's see if I can pull it up here. There we go. I'm really loving this base. As you can see, you get a nice, it's kind of a mixture between a regular standard base and a kind of environment base, because you do have the nice very uniformed look at the bottom there, with just like a black strip that goes around the bottom with a nice chrome nameplate that says Avengers Age of Ultron Mark 43, and I think it just looks really great. But then on top of that, you get an environment piece, which I think is pretty much the best of both worlds, because although I do like the environment pieces that come with the Mark 1, the Jatari, and the Whiplash Mark 2 that's coming out soon, you know, they're all very nice environment pieces, but I do like that unified and more just kind of almost realistic type of bases over the kind of just environment. So this is a perfect mix where we get that same unified type of look, but with the environment texture on top of it, which I think is great. And then of course, just an incredible highlight is the detachable damaged Ultron Mark 1 piece that's on top of it. This is very exciting and just really cool. Just a great piece. I mean, hopefully they will make an entire Ultron Mark 1. Hopefully that happens, but if it doesn't, this would still be a fine substitute, I think. I think it'll be great to pose this with the with Iron Man, you know, just having him hold this, and just this looks pretty creepy. It looks very well detailed and very cool, and definitely just great. So I'm very happy about this base. This really sells it for me, as well as the detail in the armor on this one is pretty interesting, because you really don't get many accessories. He's got, you know, the back opening flaps, and he's got the new articulation for the Mark 42, basically. He's got the head sculpt that we've seen before, and then he's got a rocket launcher in his arm. So nothing too special. He really doesn't come with any battle damage parts. But in these pictures, if you take a close look, it is basically chipped. The paint is chipped throughout this entire figure. This is the first time I've ever seen this. Typically, Iron Man figures from Hot Toys, they'll be very pristine, and the only exception to this is really down at the ankles. Some of the ankle pads will be like painted so it looks like it's chipping, because, you know, obviously if he's walking around and his feet are hitting the pads, it's going to start chipping the paint a bit. So there's just a little bit of wear down there at the ankles typically, and then if they do add some damaged parts. Typically it'll just be a chest plate, a face plate, maybe a shoulder, maybe an arm, maybe a thigh. They wouldn't go out completely battle damaged, so this is perfect because you do get not a pristine Iron Man, which I don't want a pristine Iron Man. I got a million of those, you know, ones that are just completely flawless in the paint, which doesn't make much sense. While this one seems to be chipped not in just a few places, but throughout the entire armor, making it a little bit more realistic than just having battle damage in certain parts and having other parts of him completely pristine. So I'm very excited for this figure because the Mark 42 is supposed to be just an incredible figure, and it really looks like it. So this is just that much better than the Mark 42. It's a better paint, it comes from a better movie, and I just like the way that it's chipped, and this is the best picture to see it. So take a close look at that next time you're looking at these pictures, because you can see that. So overall, I am very happy with the with this Iron Man. I think it looks wonderful. Now to talk about the toys that are going to be shown at the Toy Seoul fair in, I believe it's going to be in Hong Kong. So there was an article released which had the first picture of the Mark 43. It also showed the 1 in 4 scale Boba Fett. Just quickly talking about that, it looks very nice. I would love for them to make a 1 in 6 scale, but I just don't collect 1 in 4 scale, so I'm not going to be picking that one up. But in that article, it does say that they will be showing Thanos, the Hulkbuster, and Ultron at this toy fair, and this toy fair is going to start on Friday, the 18th, I believe. So this is just incredibly exciting news. Not only are we going to get this Iron Man so early, but they are going to be showing figures very early as well. And what's crazy is, you know, I would have expected them to come out with like maybe one big player, like the Hulkbuster, and then the others to be the new Thor and the new Captain America. I wouldn't have expected them to come out with their 3 biggest and newest characters and be like, hey, we're just going to show them all on this one date. I think it's quite exciting. I am shocked that they're making Thanos. I expected them to make Thanos eventually, but I thought it would be in 2017 with Infinity Wars, but it looks like we're getting one for Age of Ultron, which is just that much more exciting, because then that means we'll probably get a second version when the Infinity Wars comes out. But I'm incredibly excited to see Thanos. It also kind of confirms that Thanos is going to be in this movie. That was something that I did not expect. I wouldn't have expected him to show up in this one. It just, the story arc doesn't seem to fit Thanos' role in this universe, so I expected him not to be in Avengers 2, but I guess he will be, even if it's just for another famous Thanos cameo. But overall, I'm incredibly excited for that. I hope that we eventually, if not in this version, but in the next version, get the kind of smiling end credit scene Thanos, because that's how we all saw Thanos since like 2012 up until Guardians of the Galaxy this year in 2014. So for 2 years, our only image in our heads of Thanos was that smile. So I would love to get that embodied in plastic by Hot Toys. But overall, I am incredibly excited for Thanos. A must-have for me. I don't care the price, and I hope it looks amazing. Going over the Hulkbuster, this is an armor I knew they'd make, because there's 2 things that Hot Toys will make. They'll make Avengers figures, and they'll make Iron Man figures. And this fits in with both of those categories, so there was no chance that they wouldn't be making the Hulkbuster. So it's exciting to get to see it so early, but not quite a surprise that they'd be making it. And I'm very excited to see how that is. A little worried on that price tag, but that is going to be one that I pretty much plan to buy, I have to say. Ultron, very exciting. I hoped and expected them to make Ultron. I wasn't 100% sure if they would, but I was hoping they would, and I thought there was a good chance that they would. Now this just confirms that, and I'm very happy. Now what will be interesting is to see what type of Ultron is it. Is it this one, which will be the Mark 1, or is it going to be his finished version, whatever Mark that's going to be? That's going to be very exciting to see, because if it is the finished version, that's awesome, because that's what I really want to see. I want to see his finished version, because that's definitely a more interesting one, so I'd love to see that. But if they show the Mark 1, that'll make me happy too, because it'll basically signify that they are going to make 2 Ultrons, because they're definitely not going to just make the Mark 1. Now they might just make the, final battle Ultron, that's what I'm going to call him for now. They might just make him and not the Mark 1, but as long as they make the Mark 1, we're going to get that final battle one. So it'll be very interesting to see which Ultron they show. My guess is it'll be the final battle one, but I'm not sure. If they were going to make them both, I would think that they'd show the Mark 1 at this toy fair, so that they'd have some other bigger surprise with the final battle Ultron later in 2015 or so. So overall, I'm very excited. I cannot wait for this toy show. This is going to be one of the best reveals I think Hot Toys has ever done for me personally, because you get an amazing Iron Man armor. You get two incredible and iconic Marvel villains, Ultron and Thanos. It just doesn't get any better than that. And I'm a huge villain fan, especially a Marvel villain fan, so it just doesn't get any better for that for me personally. Alright, switching over here, they did also show the Stryker armor. This was very exciting. This was one that was shown at Comic-Con a while back, and it was just shown with his body, his head, and then one arm. So, and there was a scene in the movie where you actually did see Stryker like that in one of the Hall of Armor pieces. So, you know, people were thinking that maybe they just release it like that to go in your Hall of Armor. But luckily enough, they released the full thing, which is really fantastic. I have to say, it's a beautiful looking piece. It's a character that's obviously not necessary, so I think it's really going to be up to whether you like to buy Hot Toys based on the characters or figures, because figure-wise this looks amazing, character-wise obviously much lacking, but overall I think it looks incredible. I love the lights in the face. He's got like 3 different portions on either side of his face that light up. I think it looks stunning, and I think this armor is just really incredible because it's very different. And look at that thigh bend. That is a tight thigh bend. Very exciting to see. Obviously doesn't come with much, like most of the Vault of Armor figures or Iron Legion figures, but overall incredibly exciting. Haven't made my final decision on whether I'm going to buy him or not. I think he's worth it. It's just, is he worth it for me is basically my issue here. But I certainly might get him. The one other problem I have with him is he doesn't come out until November of 2015. That's a long time away, and you know, by then Iron Man 3 will be like 3 years old, so it's really like, you know, I might not even care at that point. But overall, I think it looks stunning. I'm very excited for Star Boost. I already have the Silver Centurion, so this would make a nice addition to my Iron Legion collection. I think it looks like a wonderful figure, based off of a really unique character, although not a character we get to see in the movie very much. He's on pre-order. He's for $280. You know, fair price. I wouldn't have been surprised if they hit a $300 price tag on him, so it was a little less than what I kind of expected. So overall, I'm kind of happy on that. Still doesn't. I'm still not saying that it's a really cheap. You know, I mean, if they based it off the character, this would be a, you know, very high price tag. But if you're basing it off the figure, then it's pretty standard, and it's you know, a little better than standard, actually, I'd say. But overall, incredibly excited for this Mark 43. We'll absolutely be ordering it. There is an exclusive item with it. I'm not sure if this is just going to be for the toy fair or if they will release this as a sideshow exclusive. I have a feeling they will. It's a battle damaged Mark 43 head sculpt with light up eyes. I think it looks incredible. I love that scar in the eye. It'll be very interesting to see how he gets that in the movie, and it would be really awesome if that could go on the Iron Man figure. Although they don't have any pictures of that, so I doubt that'll be the case. But if it can actually be, you know, like another head sculpt to put on, that would be incredible. But nonetheless, if they do release it on Sideshow, I'll purchase the exclusive version. So yeah. So there you go, some really exciting and just amazing Hot Toys news, and there's some stuff that they showed that was just incredible and really exciting, and then there's some stuff that they told us that's incredible and very exciting. So my anticipation level is just through the roof for these 3 figures from Age of Ultron that are going to be shown on Friday. I hope they look as great as I'm expecting them to, I have to say. But I'm really excited, and I think they're doing a great job. Definitely be picking up this Mark 43, and definitely be picking up Hulkbuster, Ultron, and Thanos. So there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on the upcoming Hot Toys Iron Man and Age of Ultron figures, basically. Tell me what you guys think and what you guys are most anticipating, and yeah, hopefully I'll get another video out to you maybe Monday or so of next week about going over the pictures of the toy fair itself, so I can talk about all that stuff. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching.